a short story that illustrates the consequences of excessive kindness. The Kindness Quandary. Once upon a time in the quaint village of Willowbrook, there lived a woman named Eliza. She was known far and wide for her unwavering kindness. Eliza would bake cookies for her neighbors, help the elderly with their groceries, and even rescue injured animals. Her heart overflowed with compassion, and she believed that kindness was the key to a harmonious life. One chilly winter morning, Eliza noticed a shivering stray cat huddled near her doorstep. Without hesitation, she scooped up the cat, wrapped it in a warm blanket, and brought it inside. She named the cat Snowflake and vowed to care for it until it found a forever home. Days turned into weeks, and Snowflake became a permanent resident in Eliza's cozy cottage. Eliza fed her gourmet cat food, knitted her tiny sweaters, and even sang lullabies to help her sleep. The villagers marveled at Eliza's boundless kindness, but they also whispered behind her back. "Eliza's too kind for her own good," said Mrs. Thompson, the baker. "She'll end up with a house full of stray animals." And indeed, Eliza's home began to resemble an animal sanctuary. Besides Snowflake, she adopted a limping dog named Rusty, a parrot with a penchant for colorful language, and a rabbit that chewed through her prized tulip bulbs. Her once tidy cottage now resembled Noah's Ark. But Eliza didn't mind. She believed that her kindness would be rewarded someday. She imagined a parade of grateful animals marching through Willowbrook, singing her praises. Yet, as the months passed, Eliza's health declined. She neglected her own well-being, skipping meals and losing sleep to care for her furry friends. One stormy night, Eliza lay in bed, exhausted and feverish. Snowflake curled up beside her, purring softly. Eliza's heart swelled with love, but her body rebelled. She realized that her kindness had come at a cost she hadn't considered. The next morning, Eliza made a difficult decision. She gathered her animal companions and tearfully explained that she needed to find them new homes. The parrot squawked in protest, Rusty whimpered, and Snowflake nuzzled her cheek as if understanding. Eliza placed ads in the local newspaper, seeking loving families for her beloved pets. Slowly, they found new homes, one by one. The villagers watched, surprised at Eliza's sudden change. Some criticized her for abandoning her animals, while others admired her newfound strength. As the last pet left her cottage, Eliza felt a mix of sadness and relief. She realized that kindness wasn't about sacrificing herself, it was about balance. She vowed to continue helping others, but promised to care for herself too. And so, Eliza learned that being too kind could lead to neglecting oneself. She discovered that true kindness involved setting boundaries, saying no when necessary, and remembering that self-care was not selfishness. From then on, Eliza continued to spread kindness in Willowbrook, but she also took time to sip tea by the fire, read her favorite books, and tend to her garden. And whenever she felt overwhelmed, she'd glance at the empty cat bed and smile, knowing that Snowflake had taught her the most valuable lesson of all. Remember, dear reader, that kindness is a beautiful virtue, but it should never come at the expense of your own well-being. Balance your compassion with self-care, and you'll find the sweet spot where kindness flourishes without draining your soul. Some signs that you might be overly nice, along with potential side effects. Difficulty saying no. If you find it challenging to decline requests or say no to others, it could be a sign of excessive kindness. While being accommodating is admirable, constantly putting others' needs before your own can lead to burnout and neglecting your well-being. Prioritizing others over yourself. Always putting others first is a common trait of overly kind individuals. While empathy and compassion are essential, neglecting your own needs can lead to resentment and emotional exhaustion. Agreeing too often. If you tend to agree with people even when you hold different views, it might indicate excessive niceness. While compromise is valuable, compromising your own values or beliefs excessively can be detrimental. People seek you out for help. When others consistently come to you for assistance or favors, it's a sign that they perceive you as kind and helpful. However, if this becomes overwhelming, it can lead to feeling taken advantage of. Avoiding conflict or confrontation. Being too nice often involves avoiding conflict at all costs. While maintaining harmony is essential, suppressing your feelings, or avoiding necessary discussions can harm your relationships and personal growth. Remember that kindness should be balanced with self-care and assertiveness. It's okay to be kind, but also ensure that your boundaries are solid and that you prioritize your own well-being. Why you should stop being too kind to everyone. Since we are discussing why you shouldn't be too nice to everybody, you may be wondering whether you are supposed to start acting like a jerk and being self-absorbed. And the answer is no. Being nice is good, but only to some extent. The saying too much of anything is bad applies to niceness as well. To avoid the negative consequences of being too nice to everyone, you should know when it is good to be nice and when to show your true colors. Listen to find out some of the reasons why you should stop being too nice to everybody. Starting today, we shall also offer some tips to help you learn how to stop being nice all the time. 1. People will take advantage of you. One of the main reasons why you should stop being too nice to everyone is that it can help you avoid people who could see this quality as a weakness and hence try to take advantage of you. For example, gold diggers or toxic friends and colleagues who might consider you easy prey to exploit because you are nice. People are less likely to try taking advantage of you if you aren't nice to them. Stop being too nice to everybody and start standing up for yourself more often, set boundaries, and learn how to say no assertively when you don't agree with someone or when you don't want to do something. 2. You forget to be nice to yourself. Being nice to others is good, says student Shilpi Singh in her answer, but don't forget to be nice to yourself. This is also the problem with being too nice that is often cited by experts on entrepreneurship. Being responsive is great for your business, but taking your focus on meeting others' needs too far will leave you with no time to work on your own priorities or the longer-term issues essential to your company's health. Struggling with balancing being there for your customers and employees and having time for long-term strategy or your own physical and mental health? You're not alone. Thankfully, there's a boatload of good advice out there on how to be more strategic about your time use and say no firmly and fairly, including exact language you can use for different situations. 3. You could become an inauthentic person. No one can manage to be nice all the time. You are only human, and your reactions to people and the things around you won't always be positive. Since you're trying to be a nice person, you might change your personality or fake things and, in the process, lose the sense of who you are. Therefore, one of the reasons why you should stop being too nice to everyone is that it could lead to an identity crisis and a loss of authenticity. Stop trying to be someone you are not and just be your true self. Instead of always being too nice, you should show people the real you and let them know what you really think or feel. 4. Being too kind could hold you back. Have you ever wondered why so many successful people are arrogant and often considered jerks? It all comes down to the saying, nice guys finish last, even in business and other aspects of life. People who are not nice often go for what they want without caring much about what others will think or feel. On the other hand, nice people care too much and try as much as possible to avoid hurting or letting others down. As a nice person, you might be reluctant to take risks or go after what you want if it involves competition or confrontation. You could also put everyone else before yourself to avoid causing them pain. But in doing so, you might miss out on great opportunities for growth. The reason why you should stop being too nice to everyone is that it could hold you back from achieving your goals. To avoid getting stuck in life, you should learn how to stop being too nice and be ready to take risks that could promote your personal growth, even though you might have to compete or go against someone else's wishes. 5. People might not trust you. No one is that nice without wanting something in return. Humans, being the suspicious creatures we are, can never trust that someone is being nice and doing kind things out of the goodness of their heart. Hence, another reason why you should stop being too nice is that some people might not trust you because they will think you have ulterior motives for your actions. If you are genuinely only trying to be kind, it is okay to be nice, but not too nice that it surpasses the threshold of what is considered normal niceness in particular situations. When people are suspicious of you for being too nice, they may be cautious about getting close to you or accepting your help, but who can blame them? People who are overly nice often turn out to be manipulative and want something in return, maybe not immediately, but at some point. Remember the story of the Trojan horse? Let's face it, genuinely nice people aren't rare, but especially in some corners of the business and professional world, they're hardly in the majority either. This sad fact means that if you are truly nice, you're liable to be occasionally misunderstood and even viewed with suspicion, claims author Anna Sayed. People will believe that you have an ulterior motive in mind. Otherwise, why would you be doing all these special things? She warns. Just as there is no such thing as a free lunch, there cannot, surely, be such a thing as too nice for no reason, according to these doubters. 6. Being nice could affect your health. Should you really not say anything at all if you don't have anything nice to say? Nice people tend to bottle up their negative emotions to avoid burdening others or coming off as rude and hurting others. However, suppressing your negative emotions can compromise your physical health or lead to mental health issues such as stress, anxiety, and depression. The protection of your health and well-being is a good reason why you should stop being too nice to everyone. Positive and negative emotions are natural responses to the things happening in our lives, and thus, it is okay to feel and express both. You don't have to bottle up your negative emotions and continue being nice to people who do you wrong. Second story. It might seem strange not to treat everyone gently, but the story of Buddha's life helps us understand this better. In this discussion, we will explore the profound teachings of Gautam Buddha and discover why there are times when it is important to move beyond gentleness and take a more balanced approach in life. Once, Buddha was sitting with his followers when a king approached him and said, "Lord, ever since I started following your teachings, everyone seems to be taking advantage of my kindness. I used to be very cruel before I followed you. I would not hesitate to punish someone, even with a death sentence. But now, I don't feel like punishing anyone. I don't even get angry anymore. I have become kind and look at everyone with compassion. Bad people are exploiting my kindness. They are no longer afraid of me. The crime rate in my kingdom is rising, and people feel insecure. Additionally, I am encountering numerous issues in my governance. Please tell me, what should I do now?" Upon hearing this, Buddha smiled and responded, "King, the answer to your question lies within this story. Pay close attention." Then Buddha began to narrate. Once, there was a snake that lived in a hole under a big tree on the edge of a village. The snake was infamous for attacking people for no reason, and sadly, many people lost their lives because of its deadly bites. People were terrified to even go near the tree because of the snake. One day, a monk happened to pass by the village and saw the beautiful tree. He decided to rest and meditate under the shade of the tree before continuing his journey. Some villagers, who noticed the monk, cautioned him about the dangerous snake and advised him to stay away from the tree. However, the monk simply smiled and settled down under the tree to meditate. As he sat there, the snake emerged from its hole, hissing angrily and poised to strike. Undeterred, the monk met the snake's gaze and began chanting a mantra. Miraculously, the snake began to communicate with him. Addressing the monk, the snake said, "Hey man, aren't you afraid of me? Don't you realize this is my territory? How dare you intrude here?" The monk responded with compassion and said, "My friend, why should I fear? I fear nothing. I do not even fear death. So why should I fear you? It appears that you fear death. That is why you bite others." The snake was astonished to hear this from the monk. Until then, it had only encountered people who either tried to kill it or fled in fear. It had never encountered someone who was not afraid of it. Upon hearing the monk's words, the snake approached him and wrapped itself around his feet and said, "You are right, sir. Every time someone comes near me, I feel like they want to kill me. That's why I bite them, to save myself. If I don't bite them, they will kill me." The monk nodded and said, "You are right, but remember one thing, life will end one day. Therefore, it is not appropriate to harm others just to save yourself. Let go of this fear of death and replace it with love for everyone." Saying this, the monk left. The snake was deeply impressed by the monk's wisdom and took his words to heart. It decided to stop biting people and let go of its anger. But things did not go as planned. When people noticed that the snake had stopped biting, they started to mess with it. Those who used to be scared of it now came up to it without fear, teasing, scratching, and hurting it. Consequently, the snake found itself hurt all the time. It was really upset and going through the worst time of its life. After some time, the monk returned to the village and sat under the same tree. To his surprise, He found the snake in a pitiable state. The monk asked him, "What happened, my friend? Who has harmed you?" The snake replied, "O blessed one, you advised me to be kind and stop biting. Since I followed your advice, people have stopped fearing me and instead torment me now. Nobody is afraid of me. People come, hurt me, and leave me in a miserable condition. Life has become very difficult for me." Hearing this, the monk responded, "My friend, it seems you misunderstood my teachings. I told you not to bite others, but I never said you should not hiss in self-defense." After sharing the story with the king, Buddha said, "King, have you found the answer to your question? It seems you misunderstood my teachings, much like the snake. I told you to let go of your cruelty, but I did not mean for you to abandon your responsibilities as a king. If you want to maintain order in your kingdom, you must be tough enough to punish those who break the law. Your people should respect and fear you, or else crime and chaos will spread in your kingdom. Without a strong leader, neighboring states might even attack your kingdom. You need to be firm on the outside to keep everyone disciplined. By enforcing justice, you ensure peace and security within your kingdom. So you should rule with the compassion of a monk inside, but with the authority of a king outside." In our lives, we find that kindness is a wonderful trait, but being overly kind can make us susceptible to being taken advantage of. When we are too kind or nice to people, they might use our kindness for their own benefits, leaving us feeling used or taken advantage of. While kindness is important, it is equally important to assert ourselves and set boundaries to prevent others from taking advantage of our kindness. For instance, if you are excessively kind in your office, your colleagues might exploit your kindness by frequently asking you to help them with their tasks. However, when it is their turn to help, they might start making excuses because they believe that even if they don't reciprocate, you will still assist them when they are in need. In a relationship, if one partner is always forgiving and accommodating, the other partner might begin to exploit this kindness. They might begin to neglect their responsibilities and take their partner's generosity for granted. They start to expect them to always be understanding and forgiving without reciprocating in the same manner. Similarly, when you are overly kind, others may perceive you as someone who can be easily manipulated. Therefore, it is crucial to balance kindness with assertiveness to maintain healthy relationships and personal well-being. The bottom line: there is nothing wrong with being nice, but it needs to be on your own terms. Sometimes we practice self-sacrifice for our families or children, or because we want to repay a favor. This is fine. However, when this becomes habitual and we subsume our own needs, this becomes unhealthy and can cause unhappiness, anxiety, depression, and/or resentment. Some of the problem may be that you have never really voiced what it is you do want. You may be in the habit of going along with other people or being agreeable to the point where people do not actually know what you think or what you want. You need to start asking of situations, "How does this work for me?" If you find it doesn't work for you, then you need to speak up for yourself and explain why. This may be difficult if you haven't done this before. If you have developed a please others driver, then you will feel very uncomfortable voicing your opinions and needs. Please others will have been developed over a lifetime of adapting, so be gentle as you unpick this unhelpful behavior. Practice is the key. Start small with family or friends where the chance of rejection is small and low risk. Ask for something you want and expect to get it. Our expectations often dictate how we are treated. You need to be thinking, if the other person does not consider my needs and wants, do I really want to be in a relationship with them? You need to start to think about what pleases you as well as those around you. When you feel braver, you sometimes need to ask others to fit around you or to accommodate what you want. This is not an easy task, but it is important for your health and well-being. We know from old studies that although being the boss can be stressful, it is the people in more subservient positions who suffer. A measure of control and self-direction is important for all of us. It is part of our self-esteem and identity to have likes and dislikes, wants and needs. If you really don't know what you want, like the bride in Runaway Bride who always has her eggs the same way as the person she is currently engaged to, or, indeed, the person who says they don't mind when you offer tea or coffee, then you need to try things out and decide for yourself. Once you know what you like and want, asking for it becomes easier. So, by all means, be nice, but at your convenience. It is not good for us when we leave our own desires and needs unmet. There should be no need to distort who we are and what we want as adults. The world requires some give and take from all of us. But in order to thrive, we need to find out who we are and then fulfill ourselves as that person. This takes time and care, but it can be enjoyable trying out new things and situations and working out what you believe in and what you don't. If you didn't get this opportunity as a child, take the chance now and start developing yourself until you can flourish as an independent adult who knows what they want and feels that, at least some of the time, they can ask for it.